it's also the total simplicity, because with self-realization is the knowing that it is already perfect. So there isn't any way that this moment could be improved on.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't anywhere else that one would want to be or that one would want to be doing.
Yeah.
But the paradox is that it can constantly improve, so that the depth of connection, not that there is connection, because the thing is with present awareness, that knows that everything is arising within itself.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no connection.
Mm-hmm.
But actually taking human qualities like compassion or love or knowing, there can be a deepening of that.
Yes.
But that, it isn't that when all of those things are fully known, all of those things are complete, there will be self-realization.
Mm-hmm.
Self-realization can actually know itself on the level of total ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be somewhat, self-realization is possible for someone who has had no education. And it can also be possible for a king, that there are no boundaries within it. It doesn't have to be somebody who's undergone years of spiritual practice. It can be somebody who's been, drinking and smoking all the time.
Mm-hmm. So the non-dual pointing is then talking to somebody who doesn't know anything about spiritual matters and pointing these things out to him.
It's pointing
what
back
reality really is.
Yes.
And activating their inner knowledge or self-remembering or
Yes. It's allowing, just a very simple thing we could do.
Yeah.
In this moment, what is Renate aware of?
Well, I'm aware of the humming noise. I'm aware of you whipping in the chair. I'm aware of the television screen with one eye. I'm aware of the clock. I'm aware of the light, the plant.
Okay. Well,
I'm aware that I'm actually thirsty.
well, the thirst is actually a physiological need, that the body, currently known as Renate,
Yes.
requires water. So that's a physiological need.
So I'm aware now as the water,
Yes.
of the sensation of the water in my mouth.
There is an
coming
awareness
down.
of the water going down the throat.
Yes.
Now, the common way of experiencing it is, I'm thirsty and I can taste that water and I can feel it going down my throat.
Yes.
But actually, the reality is that there is an awareness of the hand picking up the glass.
Yes.
There's an awareness of the water being tipped into the mouth, and there's an awareness of water going down the throat.
Yes.
But actually, it isn't a personal experience. That the awareness of that water, or the awareness of the sound of that gentle humming in the background, are being registered equally in awareness. So there is actually no subject-object experience. That consciousness has pretended that there is a subject called Renate who is tasting the water and who is hearing that.
Yes.
But actually what is ever present is the field of awareness that knows the taste of the water.
Yes.
It fully knows that. It fully knows the sound of the humming. It fully knows the lights, the background noises, the feeling of the weight of the body. And that awareness is who you are.
Yes.
And that awareness, it's being directly, all of those things are being directly registered in awareness.
Yeah.
And it doesn't require the mind to know that.
Yeah. There's just one thing, David, what in my own experience, I can be in this state of awareness and in the moment I feel a kind of a painful sensation in my body. It's almost like the whole body just sucks this huge expansion in to the system, and that's where it wants attention.
Yes.
And it completely collapses into the physical body.
Yes.
yeah, and wants to sort out the pain or
Okay.
whatever is going on.
Well,
yeah.
it's ever-present awareness. It's present awareness that knows that.
Yes.
So whether there is the pain there or it's not there, it's awareness that knows the pain, and it knows not having pain also.
Yes.
What's happening in terms of that pain is that that pain is actually an invitation, because that pain is saying there's a way in which experience is taking place that is giving rise to that. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, if the concept is held that life is painful, there are a lot of people suffering, there's nothing I can do about that, and the world's terrible, then the emotion or the feeling that accompanies that thought is pain.
Yes.
But that pain is actually consciousness saying, hang on a minute, just wake up and see what's really happening. And what's really happening is that there is present awareness. There is the phenomena of pain, there is the phenomena of suffering, in the same way as if you're dreaming and, you know, something terrible happens in the dream.
But if somebody really experienced something very painful, either physically, they're sick, or emotionally, what do you say to them? You are not dead. I mean, that would be very cruel. Get out of that. You are dead. This person cannot do that in this moment.
No,
maybe.
But
is there a little help?
Well,
a person is shaken of fear because they just got a diagnosis that they have cancer or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way life is experienced generally is that there are these terrible things that happen, like pain, death, calamity, loss, all of those things. And in relative terms, they're terrible. You know, if somebody says, you know, you've got a terminal illness and you're going to die tomorrow, then, you know, that can appear terrible, because if there's complete identification with the body and thinking, oh, that's who I am, you think, oh, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But actually there's a knowing of that. So when there is pain, there's a knowing of that pain. There's an awareness of the pain. Mm-hmm. And actually each of those things is an invitation to see that it isn't you. So the things that people have a real aversion to, like death, you know, change, loss, all of those things actually shake the sense of identification with the form of life as it appears. And when it's shaken to the point where consciousness detaches itself from the drama, that is self-realization. Mm-hmm. So actually they're not bad things. They're only perceived to be bad things when consciousness is disguising itself and making it appear as though you really are in pain. I, Renate, am in pain.
Yes.
But that idea is just an idea. That is part of the disguise. Consciousness is pretending that Renate is in pain, when actually awareness is aware of that pain, and what you truly are is the awareness that is aware of it. But that awareness hasn't, in reality, moved into the form of Renate.
Right. So.
But while the disguise is going on, while the identification isn't, you know, is taking place, you could say on one level that there's nothing you could do about that.
No. You just have to wait till